You followed. Good. These are the Grayson files. Tell no one. So then, the New York Times drops this massive article. I'm not sure if it was actually Friday night. You know, it's actually kind of funny because Trump's been kind of playing the mainstream media schedule against them, against everyone, and then like all of a sudden the New York Times probably does the same thing. I'm gonna try not to laugh. Thing is, other people see what the New York Times does and they decide to do the same thing. You then get the Washington Post. They decide to publish their article, and now, I mean, what did happen over the weekend? Nothing. Absolutely nothing, which means for right now, Trump has been backed up into a corner, basically. So, I guess that's how you have to fight Trump. You release a scathing article on a Friday night, and then have someone back you up over the weekend. I mean, if you really think about it, it's kind of incredible how we managed to go one weekend without, I mean, the biggest news. And to be honest, Trump didn't really have such a good PR weekend, because usually he'll think of something and squirm around whatever's in the news. This weekend, he had the kids from the college football game, Clemson, and I think it was Clemson that they won. He had them over to the White House, and apparently because of the government shutdown, he couldn't feed them. He had to order fast food. You know, he might have tried to like spin it in a favorable manner, but like the college kids, they're already not making money as it is. I mean, they're basically playing football, they're not getting paid. Um, I mean, sure, you could argue that they get like scholarships and all that, but I mean, how much does a football player make? I mean, even if they made like half of that, it's still like they don't make any money. They're not allowed to. And, here's this president who's controversial to say the least. I mean, what president has said rapists accusing someone and things and started saying illegal alien again? Um, so here they are visiting this president in the White House. They're just kids. I mean, really, all you need to do is treat them to a meal. They really have no reason to go visit you, but for a meal that you might treat them to. What's the problem with giving the White House chef a few extra hours, cook up a couple meals, maybe a dessert for a bunch of kids. And I mean, what happens? They get there, there's no food. They have to order McDonald's, Wendy's, whatever fast food they want. But it's like, these are kids. Like, they eat that stuff all the time. Like, they didn't go to the White House to eat that food. I mean, if you don't have food to feed them, then you probably shouldn't even have invited them. I mean, they only went out of respect, and he didn't really respect the occasion. I mean, he just canceled it. And what's funny to me is he thinks that telling people that oh, they ordered whatever they want, he thinks that is not gonna make people angry about the government shutdown. The government is shut down. I mean, we might as well call them shutdown burgers, because that's what people are eating probably, because the government is shut down. So I mean, tomorrow is a very, very, very important day, because and we'll take a look at that second article in a second. I honestly don't even know what it's about. So I mean, here's what's going down tomorrow. Just tomorrow. Tomorrow there's gonna be a vote by senators on whether or not Trump should be giving Russians free passes. Now, one could argue, I mean, here's the thing, you haven't really been hearing anything from anyone until now, when, it's just, it's all out there. It's all out there now. And you have Trump, or not Trump, Ted Cruz going out in public, stepping out of his, Senate office for a sec, just a sec, and, telling people that people in the Rust Belt don't care about this Russia thing. You know, Trump basically shut down the government and put people out of jobs, Americans out of jobs, to protect a bunch of Russians and their right to make money off of us. I mean, why is he? I mean, couldn't those deals be going to Americans? I mean, why does he need to be helping Russian companies at all when people are out of work? They don't have health insurance to be. They didn't have health insurance to begin with. Uh, we have a bunch of bridges in this country that are failing, and you know what is the president doing? The very least he could do is reopen the government, and that's not what he wants to do. So then tomorrow also, I mean, it's just how could Ted Cruz even say that when tomorrow this whole issue with I mean, at this point you have to assume that Trump is protecting Russian companies. It's not a matter of should he be lifting sanctions or not. It's should Trump be protecting these companies? Now, tomorrow this vote is going down. If it goes down, because as mentioned in the tweet, Senator Chuck Schumer is going to try to force a vote on this tomorrow. And tomorrow also will be the first hearing on the new AG, the new Attorney General, William Barr, the guy that said he is going to get rid of Rod Rosenstein. The guy who's already had something to say about this investigation. I mean, I could basically do a search right now on William Barr, and I could tell you a bunch of things about him. We know exactly who he is. And tomorrow will be the first hearing. That will begin the confirmation process. I mean, if we go by Trump's timeline, everything is going according to plan, even though, and you know, he might have even expected a couple damning articles here and there. He might have expected that. But I mean, right now, uh, the government is shut down. Schumer has to force a vote. I mean, he has to force it. In other words, Schumer would have to go around Washington D.C. trying to get votes. And then it's the first hearing of his new attorney general, who probably has his back. So I mean, you know, nothing really is messed up for him, you could say. And like, really, the only thing he's fighting is publicity. And you know, his base is fine with the occasional tweet. I mean, they're very low maintenance. And you know, here, I'll say one more thing. If Trump is a billionaire, if Trump is a billionaire, why can't he just pay a chef to make a bunch of meals? I mean, listen. Listen. If you're a billionaire, all right, and you have a bunch of money and whatever. I mean, how much does it cost to hire a chef? Like what, $5,000, and to make like food for a bunch of kids? What, like 10 grand to make this food at the most? I mean, if you're president of the United States and you have all these things against you, um, and and this article is out, why wouldn't you pay to have them fed? I mean, is he trying to make a point that, oh, the government shut down, so we can't eat good? We need that wall built. It's just his reasoning for getting that good meal, spending more money on a wall. I mean, it would be one thing if the Democrats just plain old didn't want to open the government. If they just refused to open the government, that's one thing. But they want to open the government. Trump wants to shut it down. He wants it kept shut down until they agree to pay for his wall. It just doesn't really make sense. It doesn't add up. It really does not. Wow. And then look at this. President Trump says he hasn't been following controversy around Steve King's white supremacy comments. Do you know how crazy that is? Look, right now his head is in the clouds. So if you ask him if he takes his coffee in the presidential bathroom, he'll probably tell you, and he won't even realize he's doing so. This right here, him saying this basically means he either doesn't care, he just doesn't know what's going on, or he doesn't have a problem with it. Because let me tell you, this thing with Steve King turned out to be a big deal. I mean, to be honest, what he said is just, I mean, it's basically everything. It's disgusting what he said. But people are actually calling on him to resign. I mean, do you even know what that would mean to be able to get rid of Steve King? Steve King is probably the first person that should go anyway. I mean, we should have gotten rid of him months after he was elected. And you know, it's just funny how he keeps getting elected. It can't be said often enough. Steve King is on his 25th chance right now. He passed his second chance years ago. He needs to be tossed, plain and simple, for saying, and this is what his words import, that Western civilization is exclusively about and for white people. You know, Trump is basically doing all these messed up things so that, you know, people don't care about the Russia thing and people don't care about the Steve King thing. And I mean, what, I'm not going to say much more on this, but the thing is, someone is starting to notice that, because, you know, maybe the Republican votes over there in Georgia, I don't even remember the southern states. Maybe the votes over there in Georgia are going up just a little bit. But let me tell you something about the Republican votes out here in California, out in New York, maybe even Florida. Those are going to start going down. And you can't have that. You can't lose congressional seats. You can't lose representatives. The Republicans can't. Like, not at all, not in other states. And that's probably what's happening here. This is for them to finally say something about Stephen King. That means something has gone down. And my guess is it's a breaking point between Stephen King, all the racist stuff that's been going on, and this whole Trump thing. I mean, they're both teetering on this giant piece of wood, and the thing just broke. I think and look at this. Oh wow. You know, you never fully get to you never often get to fully experience catching someone red-handed, catching them right in the act of doing something. You know, there was no way for us to catch Trump because it already happened. Whatever he did already happened. But he had the opportunity. All he could do was basically sway public opinion, and then sort of build up the government how he saw it. The best way. That's the best way that suited him. And look at this tweet 3 hours ago. The New York Times just published a report detailing Trump's inauguration spending. Among other things, there was $10,000 for makeup for 20 aides, So you're telling me this man spent $10,000 on makeup for 20 AIDS, and can't spend uh, $10,000 on a bunch of college kids who just won the national championship? A firm led by a good friend of Melania's was paid a 1.6 million supervisory fee. Okay, I mean, it sort of feels like a day of reckoning today. Maybe not today. Actually, probably today. And you know what? It seems like it's not a big deal. You're not really seeing anything on the news, but that's how this stuff works. No one's gonna come to your house and knock on your door and tell you, hey, it's going down. No, it all just happens, and nothing's burning because people did their job. Let's make this viral. Share this video I found of real Donald Trump signing a multi-million-dollar contract with the Putin award-winning Russian billionaire who set up the Trump Tower Russian lawyer meeting. No Russian money, liar. No Russian deals, liar. And this stuff isn't new. It's not breaking news. It's just now everyone has noticed, and it all started because Trump decided to take the time of every network television station in the country and get on their airtime and try to convince people that they needed a wall, and that if he didn't get that wall, he wasn't going to open up the government. I mean, is it time to be asking ourselves when the government will be open again? Is that what's going to happen now? Well, we did say before that he might have entered panic mode a couple times. I think now that because this Steve King thing just happened 3 hours ago, he got kicked off committees. I mean, he might resign because everyone's had enough of Steve King. They are going to take things out on Stephen King, everyone. People are going to make an example of Steve King. Because you know what? People have just about had it. And when you shut down the government like this, and you start messing with people's livelihoods, that's when you get the real angry calls. I mean, I think tomorrow morning, I will be waking up super early, or trying to wake up super early to watch some Washington Journal, because the Washington Journal tells you everything. I mean, before you would get like, I remember this one Republican caller called in and he was like, how come you only get like Republicans on the Washington, or how come you only take Republican calls and you only take like one or two Democrats? And the funny thing is about the Washington Journal is that C-SPAN is pretty much controlled by whoever holds the House. So, I mean, from now on, and the last time I watched the Washington Journal was probably Inauguration Day. So, there's probably going to be some changes there. But, I mean, if we weren't finding out before what was going on, we're definitely going to find out now. Uh, as I said before, the Republicans' whole thing is that the government is too big and they've shut down the government. And now you have a bunch of angry people. And when we're not making jobs for workers, blue collar people, they work for the government. I mean, basically, you have a bunch of poor people that are getting poorer and poorer. And I mean, this could turn out to be a real mess. And Ted Cruz is saying, "Hey, these people don't care. Maybe the Rust Belt people all don't work for the government, but you know what? Those people depend on the government for a lot of things because McDonald's don't go over there. Uh, there's no Burger Kings out in the country in the Rust Belt. There's no Wendy's. You know who does go over there? The people from the government who work. Uh, uh, Cops and troopers and people who take care of the roads. If there's a huge disaster, the city has to send people, the state. It's all done by the government. And sooner or later, those people are gonna realize what is going on. And on top of all of this, New York Times is reporting probably right now that Trump has repeatedly been discussing withdrawing US from NATO. Ladies and gentlemen, this is an emergency. And it's not because I approve of NATO and I want the US in NATO. I mean, if Trump wants to get rid of NATO after this whole Putin fiasco has been resolved, hey, more power to you. But the fact that he has helped set certain things in motion and then has discussed about how he could finally help Putin, the man who attacked our elections or hacked our elections, whatever. For Trump to even thinking about helping Putin deliver the final blow, because look, Putin, he's not going to destroy our country, but he's going to try to destabilize it. That could destroy us. I'm not saying it is or it isn't. What I'm saying is Putin basically made it legal to rape women in Russia. He kills reporters. People there are poor. They don't have any money. He's robbed them blind. This person? You want this person to destabilize us? I mean, I already feel disgusting that Trump was elected. I feel I feel dumb. I feel stupid. I feel betrayed. I feel like I can't believe we let that happen. We let that happen. And now now they're saying that Trump discussed. Listen, when you're president, everything matters, and that's what people need to realize again. Uh, Trump discussed pulling the United States out of NATO. Trump's stance before this was basically, oh, well, they're not paying their fair share. Maybe we don't need them. Who knows? We'll see. There's a lot of people that depend on NATO now because of what Putin what he's been able to achieve. And I mean, now if NATO is abolished, yeah, people will die. And probably in countries you've never heard about. Uh in a language you'll never probably understand. You probably will never see these people. And you know what? They're probably gonna die. Thousands of them. Maybe hundreds of thousands. I mean, we're not talking about wars. We're talking about slow and silent invasions that no one will ever hear about, no one will ever care about. And I mean, it's not even that we have to protect people, it's that this is partly our fault. I mean, what's there left to say? Let's go ahead and find that Washington Post article. Was it the Washington? Yeah, because the New York Times. Well, let's Google it because Post um okay, Trump Russia meetings. Oh wow, this was 2 days ago. It was basically immediately after the New York Times article. And once the New York Times and the Washington Post realize what they did, they're probably gonna like it and they're probably gonna try to do more. Because this stuff is basically what's keeping the country together right now. Trump has concealed details of his face-to-face encounters with Putin from senior officials in administration. Okay, let's go ahead and tweet. I think I was seeing some more details somewhere else. Who was tweeting a second ago? I mean, basically they're saying um Trump was taking notes from interpreters and aides. He's basically protecting every single thing that went on between he and Putin. Wow, regarding the New York Times piece on Trump NATO comments, worth remembering this is one of the few issues McConnell has repeatedly chided Trump about. So the the Republicans have had enough up to this point, and it's not even that they've had enough. This thing has blown up in their face. Clearly, something has gone on in amidst their organization, and maybe we don't know about it, but they know, and they're starting to correct course. Um, on top of this, you basically have McConnell who's helping Trump sequester the Senate. Um, basically, the one thing he's been going on and on about um, has finally happened. So, I mean, and tomorrow we are hearing the new AG nominee, and also trying to block some removal of sanctions on Russian companies owned by oligarchs. David Loffman. Let's go ahead. Oops. Let's go ahead and look him up. David Loffman. I do believe he worked in the government. David Loffman. There he is. Does he have a Wikipedia? Justice Department official who helped oversee the controversial probes of Hillary Clinton's use of a private email server and Russian interference in the 2016 election, stepped down this week. David Loffman, an experienced federal prosecutor who in 2014 became chief of the National Security Division's Counterintelligence and Export Control Section, said farewell to colleagues Wednesday. He cited personal reasons. So he's not saying, he never said why he left. And look, people who work for the Justice Department and counterintelligence, I mean, these people are insane. The reason they even do the job to begin with is because they have an ability to do so, and it's a very hard job. It's only a very special group of people can do it and choose to do it, and usually they do it no matter what. It's they do it because no one else will, and it's they know it's a hard job. And on the other hand, they'll also leave the job when they don't want to be part of it anymore. Loftman became a target of the far-right blogosphere, with conspiracy theorist Mike Cernovich accusing him last year of being the source of national security leaks. Here's my little conspiracy theory on Mike Cernovich. If he's on C-SPAN, is he in on it? I mean, is he accusing random people in the government of leaking information because maybe someone has asked him to? I don't know. So this man quits. And now he's back in the news. And you know, these guys, they're not gonna say anything ever. Like, I mean, these guys are special kind of people. They know the dangers of messing with stuff like this, and so not the first article, but the second article comes out, is published. When did he post this tweet? 5:39 p.m. January 12th. January 12th was Saturday, so it was 8 p.m. in Washington, D.C. 8 at night on a Saturday, close to being Sunday. And this article comes out, and this man posts, "Now is the time for all good men and women to come to the aid of their country." I mean, I don't even know what to say to that. Like, I mean, we basically elected a compromised president. And now all of a sudden everything comes to light, and people like David Loftman are posting things like this on Twitter.